You made it to the last two letters. Now we come to the C and E. This is where strategy turns into legacy. Stay with me. Welcome to the Stuck No More Voices podcast. I am Theresa Croft, a visibility strategist for Christian businesswomen leaders whose credibility has outgrown their visibility. If you've done the work, you've built the name, carried the calling, and still feel like a room you were made for has not opened its doors, you're in the right place. Now, I'll be honest here, just a little brief interlude is last week and last few weeks, my body crashed. I came home from Vancouver at the end of this month into May, and wow. I went to the urgent care and they said I had bronchitis and they said I had pneumonia. That hit me hard. Pneumonia. I later went to my own doctor who said, don't go to urgent care. I'll leave that aside. And I found out that I didn't have pneumonia, but I had a serious case of bronchitis. So let me tell you, even a visibility strategist needs to take care of their voice and needs to rest. I have a dear friend who tells me, rest creates more. So there's a lesson in that. So I'm so excited to come back, though, to this final lesson of the EVOICE method. And it's sitting right here. So just to review, the EVOICE method, the E is executive authority and identity. The V is vision and value. The O is the offer ecosystem. The I is influence platform. The C, content strategy. And the E, expansion and execution. I'm going to tackle the last two together. So let's get into it. Looking at C, content strategy. Here is the truth most women might miss. You do not have a content problem. You have a clarity problem, dressed up like a content problem. You sit down to post, maybe your mind goes blank. Maybe you haven't learned the secrets of training AI to sound like you. And it's not because you have nothing to say. You may have too much to say and no map for it. Content strategy is the map. It tells your message where to go. Think of it like a garden, okay? You do not throw every seed into the ground on the same day and hope it draws people. You do plant on purpose. You water on a rhythm. You know what grows in each season. Your content works the same way. One message, many forms. The podcast plants down deep, long conversation. The reel on social carries it wide, and the email walks it home into their inbox where you get to be so personal with them. For me personally, this is what I like to do. I consider this, my podcast, like my content engine. I share most of the things that I'm working on and that I'm sharing with my clients right here. The content then can be dispersed, it can be cut down, it can be sent into reels. So this is really another way I like to think of it. Can I give you another way? I call it the treehouse method. You have a treehouse. It might be your website, it might be your funnel, the beginning of your funnel, it might be your podcast. And so you got seeds, content, and you're not just going to flow it everywhere and hope people come to your birdhouse. No, you have specific places you send that seed, hoping they will come back to the birdhouse. At the birdhouse might be a start of a funnel. It might be your website. It might be an offer. So you got to be able to have a solid systems, a solid website, a solid whatever that is, birdhouse, and then the content is the seed. All right, so let's talk about expansion and execution. This is the last letter, and we talk about content, but this is a lot of times where most dreams die. They got the content, but the execution, the final thing is just kind of, I don't know, lagging. Let me assure you, expansion, it's not louder. Expansion is reach. It's your message landing in rooms you have never walked into, stages, books, partnerships, collaborations. The spaces got already approved before you felt ready. But expansion only comes through execution, and execution is just one word made simple. Finish. Carry through. Go to the next level. You don't need 10 new ideas. You just need to finish the one in front of you. Here's like I think is a key. God hands you a key, but a key in your pocket, not going to open anything. You have to walk through the door and turn it. So expansion asks one question: what room is God preparing you for? And execution asks a smaller one: what is the one step you take this week? Example, once again, I had the seed. I had the places I wanted to send it. One was a seed for a content build. In came someone into the build process. Two dear friends wanted to take advantage of my podcast skills, which led into a website build and a new podcast that's coming soon. So these are all things I enjoy. What do you enjoy? Are you going through the final step of executing those steps in the EVOICE method even? You can go back and listen. Each step is so powerful for you to be visible, for people to find you. It's time, because you have something extra that you might think is ordinary. It's an extraordinary solution to someone's pain point. So that's all today. I appreciate you hanging on with me and waiting for this next episode. Here's what I want you to do before I close this app. The thing we talked about is not a someday thing. It is all this week thing. You do not need a bigger calling. You need the capacity to carry the one you have. The gap, okay, is exactly what the calling and capacity audit shows you. It takes really less than 5 minutes. It holds up a mirror to where your vision and your capacity are. You don't have to guess. You see it right there. So get it free at the TheresaCroftAudit.com. That's TheresaCroftAudit.com. And then come back next week. We're not done getting you seen. Until then, remember, speak from your scars, not your wounds. On purpose, for purpose, God's way. I'll see you next time. Another episode of the Stuck No More Voices podcast.